Welcome back. My name is Young Gung. No, it's Valdez with GTR going into game number 3 of Jin Air versus SKT. Jin Air's up 2-0.
Yeah, I mean, we did see Zone get completely wrecked by SOS in that first game, but that second game was sick from Maru. I mean, I thought Innovation would keep a better fight there, but Maru just pretty much outplayed him the whole game, and Jin Air do have this 2-0 advantage. SK Telecom T1 are up against the wall right now. And Impact and Myungshik, will they be able to take it back to an ace match? We'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, I mean, Cure's on a roll, as you can see, the only one to get that upwards red arrow. And even though Myungshik is a fantastic player, it's on Arena. We'll see how that goes for that PVT, but I think it could end right here, right now on Prion Terraces. I think Rogue, even though he hasn't been having the best time recently, I think he's still a much more experienced and better player right now than Impact is.
Yeah, there's no doubt that Rogue is currently in a slump right now, but he did beat Buell last week or a couple weeks ago in Pro League on Prion Terraces as well, actually. And I believe last night he played in the Ting Open in the finals against Gumiho. I'm not sure of the results there, but getting to the finals of an online tournament is it's no small feat. It's pretty hard to do. In the current situation, yeah. It's
very true. I mean, a lot of great players now are playing those online cups, and
there's always money to be made in those online cups. And
yeah, it's very true. I think Rogue's got a fantastic shot to end this one 3-0. Looks like it's his 4th year debut, possibly, since he was a pro gamer.
I know,
I saw
weird.
4th and I saw his name.
But generally when they give those wreaths, right, it's quite to commemorate something, so...
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll see here the records. Here, Impact actually with a positive 60% record in his past 10 games, so looks like his performances as of late have been pretty good here, and obviously, as we said before, Rogue has been in a slump, but he is the favorite in this situation, considering the player he is against. Yeah.
That's very true. So far, these two guys have played 2 games. Rogue has been able to win both of them. Let's see here. Tasteless, now it's your turn to go down like Wolf did. I love when one person actually votes for someone. Shows there's a little bit of hope. It's not a 7-0. There's one guy out there that believes he could win. Let's see if he can do it here in game number 3, Rogue versus Impact right now. Up here in the top left, in the red, the Zerg player, it is Rogue. Down in the bottom right, in the blue from SK Telecom, it is Impact.
Impact, huh?
ZVZ here on Prion Terrace.
Yes. As we mentioned before, that game Rogue against Buell was quite a weird game. Not crazy. It was quite unorthodox. I think it was Rogue that went for the quick +1 on his Carapace, so he would avoid the Banelings being one-shotted. And Rogue did win that game in the end, though, because he took that really fast 3rd gold base. So I'm really curious to see how Impact approaches this game, knowing that he's probably studied the hell out of that game against Rogue against Buell. Impact, a former Axiom player, also a former Wongjing player. He was on a documentary called State of Play. I don't know if you've seen that documentary before.
No, not yet.
It has Jadong, Impact, when he was on Wongjin Stars, and an amateur play in it. So if you guys want to watch that documentary, it's very, very well filmed, very well directed, and gives an insight to how Impact struggled on his way to becoming a star here in Starcraft 2.
Yeah. And he's made it all the way here to SK Telecom. Unfortunately, he doesn't see too much play, but maybe he will in the future. If he could take out Rogue here, that would be a good first step. Is going to go for 2 hatch before pool. So he does 2 hatch into gas, into pool here. So pretty greedy build, especially on the map. Double gold base. If he can get that up and protect it, he's going to be in a really nice spot here. Rogue on the other side goes for an earlier natural hatch, but that's about it. Goes into a faster pool and also has his own gas.
Yep, so it looks like actually Rogue's actually opting to go for those 2 queens first rather than pulling those lava into Zerglings, and that's a big win here from Impact. Impact knows that once he sees these queens and Zerglings come out, it's not going to be a full lot of Zerglings, I guess. So he's going to be really comfortable taking that 3rd base and knowing that it's not going to get too much damage done to it.
And Rogue himself, I think he does scout and make sure that there is a base coming up here, no aggression, and he does cancel that spine. Just getting that for safety. We see that a lot on this map, and you see the first 2 Zerg. Oh! Hello. Hope you're enjoying the games here. He's now going to scout this creep over here with the 2 lings, and he's just going to come over here and trade.
Yeah, notice though, Rogue isn't actually getting speedlings of his own, so on the other hand, Impact's going for banelings here, and once he gets those drones up on that 3rd gold base, then it's going to be really hard for Rogue. I'm not really sure what Rogue's thinking is behind this. He's getting more queens as well, so maybe he's just going to use these queens for defensive purposes. And another hat? Oh no, Lair. It's going to get a Lair.
Lair coming down here. He's going to have those queens. Could be a fast Spire coming out. He's going to add that 1 gas for now. We'll see if he does add any extra gas. Definitely going to want those for the mutas if he does go for that kind of play.
Oh, we see Roach Warren and the Evolution. Actually, no, I think it was trying to fake out Impact. No, well, what? Okay, they only see the Roach Warren and the Evolution Chamber there. So looks like Roaches and possibly Ravages from Rogue here.
Look, he's so smart with this too, Rogue. He identifies that there are no drones being made at the 3rd base. He sees all these links coming across. He's getting up a wall. He now has a spine crawl on the way. He's going to full wall it off with 4 queens behind. He is not messing around. He just does not want to die against this very aggressive move
but this Evolution Chamber might be broken through. Oh, barely lives though. But
barely lives. And the Ling's coming through, but there are 4 queens. Can he get the transfuses down? Unfortunately, that one with a lot of energy is in the front. And there are more Baileys coming through. He may be able to break this wall here.
There's not enough surface area for these Zerglings to work with, but here we go, the Banelings with the splash attack on those queens, and now he's in the main base. Impact might be able to do a lot of damage here.
Yeah, it looks like only 3 going to be left over. Going to try to morph a Baneling over there on the right. That's all he does get through. He follows this up with only drones. In fact, he's got 2 Lings coming out now. That 1 Baneling is going to be taken down, but nice defense by Rogue. He doesn't take all too much damage, but now Impact, with that pressure, has 3 bases up and mining. I think Rogue has to get some damage done here.
Yeah, you have to remember as well that Impact does have that 3rd extra hatchery. So it means that there's more lava for Impact to work with, which means that if Rogue does decide to go for an attack here, Impact can reinforce from that 3rd hatchery. So smart move here from Rogue, opting to take that 3rd base, trying to play catch up here. He does have that tech advantage right now. Surprised we haven't really seen any Ravages from him. Any Ravages that he decides to morph would be really helpful in killing some of these Overlords that are straying around the map.
Looks like he's just going to invest in some tech first. He can always get those Ravagers a little bit later. He's going to have 1-1 on the way. He just did finish that Roach speed. Looks like he wants to put on a bit of pressure as well. Impact's got a decent setup here, but he does have less Roaches, but more popping out all the time. The Rogue is going to try to push in here. A couple Queens. He's going to be able to snipe one down, trying to go for the other one here.
Yeah, and those Queens actually had quite a bit of energy on there, so no transfuses on these Roaches, but Defender's advantage working well here from Impact, along with that 3rd hatchery being working overtime there for Impact. As he gets enough Roaches out here, and he manages to defend for another day.
Yeah. I like the move out of Rogue, you know, not an over-commitment, just sniping some Queens, getting some little damage. Knows he has his own 3rd base coming up here, as well as the tech advantage, as you were saying. He's got these extra Queens for more injects as well. He could also spread that creep. He's going for burrow and burrow movement too. Going to try to get tricky out here on the map. Can use that for harass, especially at that 3rd base. Very hard to defend that. It's pretty far away from your natural.
Yeah, in Zerg versus Zerg, a lot of Zergs do tend to be sloppy with their detection. So, we see these Banelings here. Oh, gets away just in time there. That could have been really bad for Rogue. But yeah, as I mentioned before, we see Zerg players in this matchup, they get very lazy. They don't really put any spine crawlers or spore crawlers down in their mineral line. So roach harassment does a lot of damage if your opponent's not careful about defending that. So good move there from Rogue.
Yeah, he's now adding some Ravagers in here as well. Look at the creep spread of impact. He has none. The lack of creep spread. I think he's got one tumor in the main. That's about it. So these roaches out here, not the best, creep spread. It's going to be hard to get good position. He's just going to set up in a concave and wait to defend.
And that lack of creep spread just stems down to the fact that in that earlier skirmish there between the roaches and the queens, Impact lost his queens there to the roaches of Rogue. So it's not really that important at the moment. It gets important when either of these players attacks and decides to rally units over, but looks like Rogue's posturing to do some sort of harassment here. He's got those Ravagers out, but looks like there's Ravagers of Impact being morphed right now, so...
Yeah, well, we do have a small task force of burrow movement roaches. Looks like they want to check a fourth base and come all the way around towards that third base of Impact. Gonna snipe an Overseer, too.
And the crowd goes wild.
I think it's because he almost hit his roaches and then he split.
And he split it like last second, yeah. And we'll see if Impact can get his volley in. Nope. Womp womp. Misses the three-point shot.
The burrowed roaches of Rogue are just sitting at the other fourth base location. Looks like Impact wants to take the one closer to his main. And Rogue, I suppose, maybe he'll wait until Impact moves out. Because right now the roaches are pretty close. The burrow movement is not going to get all that much damage. But either way, he's going to come in now.
Oh, these are Jaws roaches coming into the third base of Impact. But there is a spine crawler there, but... even though there's that spine crawler there, it's not going to do enough damage to take out these roaches.
He's going to wait. He's going to try to draw some defenses over there and at the same time attack. But really nice concave here from Impact. He's not overreacting to these roaches, sending only the perfect number over there to deny the harass. And does defend against the push.
And we see here the Hydralisk then from Rogue is also getting those groove spine upgrades there. Gonna keep those Hydralisks moving at a faster rate than normal. As we see actually here an attack from both players, but corrosive biles from both players. Both players have to move back, but these Ravagers here being morphed at a really bad spot. So these corrosive biles can actually hammer on
just not going to jump onto it on time. And at the same time, here come back the roaches. Impact never cleaned that up, and the roaches of his own are going to the fourth base now of Rogue, which he should be able to easily defend. So more damage from Rogue onto Impact's fourth.
And I'm really curious to see what Rogue decides to do with his Hydralisk then after the hold that thought actually is this army of Rogue is moving forward. Oh, nice corrosive biles there. Gets some damage on these roaches. Not enough though.
Yeah, taking a bit. Some health bars coming to Pro League. And it looks like 8 drones of damage have been done at the third base. And Impact, in fact, is not saturating that much at all. He's made a few, but wants to make more units right now and get a bigger army than Rogue.
Yeah, as I hark back to my previous point with that Hydralisk then, whether what's he going to do with it after he gets the groove spine. So we see here the Lurker Den from Rogue, which means that he's going to get those Lurkers out from those Hydralisks. And Lurkers are very great in this matchup because they do extra damage to these armored units, Roaches and Ravagers, and they're so good at holding defensive positions. And look at Prion Terraces. You've got all these ramp areas where it's really hard for your opponent to get into. Those Lurkers will do some great damage there.
Yeah, especially if you can get it up some cliffs as well. Looks like Impact wants to push in. He really wants to take this fight. He's at least pushing Rogue all the way back. But look at this, Rogue's got a pretty nice concave. Some of these roaches up at the top right, not doing much, but more damage being done at the fourth base. Impact wants to take a fight, but he can take a great one here. Yeah,
that was a really nice concave there from Rogue, able to surround the army of Impact. Impact has to move back here as infinite transfuses. Oh, these transfuses on these queens. Very cute move there from Impact. Rogue actually gets away there and looks like he might be able to unburrow those roaches at the main base of Impact.
Yeah, he's going to try to find some angle, maybe even go into the main at this point. Looks like he's waiting here.
Spire. So we're probably going to see Mueller's transition here. Problem is, though, that there isn't really enough bank from Impact here, while Rogue actually has quite a sizable bank. Yeah. Obviously, he has more minerals there because of those gold bases. Another run by here from another run by from Rogue, and it's just doing a nice damage.
Yeah, gonna snipe the Queen here. Gonna try to go for this spine. But again, he's distracting Impact. You know, he's getting more map control. He's forcing the entire army to come back here.
And we see here 10 Lurkers being morphed from Rogue. So looks like Rogue does want to transition to using those Lurkers either defensively or offensively. I'm not too sure yet. We'll just have to wait and see.
And a bunch of mutas coming out here. Let me see exactly how many. He's going to have 6, but there's no anti-air for Rogue, except the Ravagers, which the mutas can easily dodge.
And you have to remember as well that both players here are maxed out. So if those Mutalisks do come in and avoid those Ravager shots, then these Mutalisks can do a lot of damage to this army. It's just slowly but surely Rogue is pushing further and further into the base of Impact.
Some Roaches now for Impact doing some harassment damage. The Lurkers now getting corrosive biled slowly but surely by Impact. He's slowly pushing in here. There's a lot of Lurkers in the back there. He does have to be careful.
Yeah, he has to be really careful there. If those Lurkers get very lazy, then those corrosive biles can do a lot of damage to those Lurkers.
So many mutas coming out. 11 more. And he's hiding them for so long. He's going to have a massive amount of mutas, and Rogue is not going to be ready. I think he's made 10 more Hydras.
Oh, here's the mutas. Let's see how much damage they can do.
Due to surprise, Rogue is forced into the fight. He can't possibly run by now. Trying to dodge these corrosive biles. Impact trying to just buy some more time for the mutas to do damage, and they're doing so much damage in the back here.
Yeah, and look at these Hydralisks. They're moving down from the bases of Rogue, but these might not be enough Hydralisks here from Rogue as Impact pushing forward here. These Mutalisks doing so much damage.
Look at how many mutas just jumping right on top of the Hydras. There's not enough Hydras. Rogue is forced to go all the way back home, but he's losing so many units in the process. He needs desperately to get up some of these Spore Crawlers and more Hydras. He's making 10 Hydras right now, no Spores.
Those Mutalisks did so much damage because you have to remember from before, he did get that +1 attack upgrade on those air units, and that +1, especially with the glaive bounce that it does a lot of damage to that clumped up ball of Rogue, as Rogue is just currently reassessing his position right now. He hasn't died completely to these Mutalisks yet. And
the Hydra trap! Here it is on Pearl! Goodbye, a bunch of your mutas. I think he sniped at least 4 there.
Yeah, nice move there from Rogue. Definitely what he needed to get back into this game, and I think the Mutalisk ball of Impact, it did its job, but at this stage I don't think he should continue going for these mutas because there's so many Hydras out on the map for Rogue.
Yeah, I would agree. It's kind of been solved by this point, but you can use those to clear up some of the Overlords. You can try to get some harassment damage done, maybe fly around the Hydras. There is 1 Spore at this base. He's going to try to fly in here, maybe snipe some of the Overlords and just try to get out. Just try to get as much damage and use out of your mutas before you do max out with something else.
Yeah, at this point in the game, I would love to see, see a nice run by here, cancelling that hat trick. Yeah, at this stage of the game, I would love to see some Vipers. I would love to see some Infestors. Fungal Growth would be really awesome on these Hydralisks, while Vipers would be really good not only for the parasitic bombs for those Mutalisks, if those Mutalisks do stay alive, but also for these, those Mutalisks actually get picked off. But Viper's very good for, what was it? I'm losing.
Binding Cloud?
Yeah, Binding Cloud. Binding Cloud, thank you very much. Because those Lurkers are just sitting there in a stationary position. If you get those Binding Clouds out on those Lurkers cannot file.
We do have a couple of Roaches. Once again, Rogue's been pretty consistent with his harass. Impact tried to do some of the same, but I feel like Rogue has got more damage overall. And he's going to use this to try to get the army out of position, get his Lurkers into position. Impact's been pretty good about zoning with his corrosive biles. I love how he does immediately, the second he sees where the Lurkers burrow, he throws out a bunch of the corrosive biles.
Gets 1. And note the army supply, the supplies here from both players. Both players actually opting to go for only 40 or so workers. That's the changes with Legacy of Voids, that you don't really need that many lurkers when you get to this point of the game. So a lot more supply can be dedicated to army here. As actually Rogue getting in my position here at the lower ground. Those lurkers going to take out the hatchery.
Yeah, you can shell that from the low ground. Funnily enough, Impact going for his own run by, but Rogue is more than ready for it. his own pack of roaches and some queens.
And you have to remember as well that Impact is only mining off one base. You see on the mini-map here, those 2 gold bases are mined out, and this is a very crazy game now because both players aren't really mining anymore. They've only got down to that one base, and it's all about what they use this extra bank here that they've acquired so far.
Impact's going to win this fight at that base, and now Roga's got to bring back some more.
Oh, if he snipes this base, that's going to be huge for Impact. It's going to let him back into the game, but these Hydralisks don't want any of that. Rogue's Hydralisks trying to pick off these roaches.
He's going to lose these Hydras, in fact. The roaches are going to be more than enough to fight against this, and now the roaches have not been solved. Rogue doing a lot of his own harass damage over here, forcing a pull at that base.
But it also forced a pull from Rogue here, and Rogue could have took advantage of the fact that Impact took his army back to that, not natural, but expansion. We'll see some, oh, I thought
These lurkers,
vials.
They're all alone. They can be corrosive vials. Look at how many Ravagers are in that mix. He's got 28 compared to the 9 of Rogue.
And Rogue relentless with these burrowed roaches just going around the map. We'll see if that actually forces a cancel there at the new expansion of Impact. Nice corrosive bile there from Impact.
Rogue inching forward. And these 2 roaches, although they may not cancel it, they're going to force a response and going to delay a lot of mining. Same time, we do have a nice little pack of roaches for Impact now coming up here. Move command for a second. These are only Ravagers and Hydras. There's nothing to really tank.
Oh, but Impact's unfortunate there for Impact gets corrosive bile there. But it looks like, oh, these corrosive, oh, nice damage on those lurkers. And the more that Rogue allows Impact to chip away with those corrosive vials.
Meanwhile, a gigantic Muta switch. 17 is going to be 20 in total. And he's hidden this from Impact, so now it's going to be Impact's turn to reply to this. And there's, wow, he's going to actually just go straight for the army here. Bunch of corrosive vials coming down, but Rogue doing a fantastic job just weaving in and out of the corrosive vials, and there's nothing to deal with these mutas right now.
Oh, the only thing you can do right now is to burrow, but there is that oversee out for Rogue. And
say, oh, you have detection. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
I mean, this Queen can only do so much, and does Impact have his own Hydralisk then?
I don't believe so.
Yeah, so he has to get Mutalisks out, or even Corruptors. Oh, here comes the own Mutalisk of Impact, but there's not enough here, and it looks like Rogue is going for a sandwich here.
Yeah, he's coming in for the final fight, using those mutas in the back to try to help out here. Some corrosive vials trying to go down onto those lurkers, but it doesn't look like it's going to be enough. Impact supply plummeting. GG. Rogue is going to take game number 3, and a nail biter between him and Impact.
Really nice game there from both players, but Rogue playing that out really well. He managed to transition to mutas when Impact expected it the least, and even though Impact did the same thing that Rogue did to win the game, it just wasn't really enough.
Yeah, Rogue had a much better response. Impact wouldn't expect something like that late in the game. You know, there was just too many things to think about. So many burrowed roaches. He was trying to deal with the lurkers in the middle of the map. He was trying to harass at the same time. Then all of a sudden, a flock of 20 mutas jump right onto your Ravagers. You have nothing to deal with it. No spores, no hydrogen. Not hydrogen, I checked.
Don't infest the pit.
He had nothing to deal with it.
He had nothing to deal with it. I think Impact just got too content with his Ravager army, thinking that he could take out anything. But as we saw there, a lot of Mutalisks there from Rogue. And unfortunately for Impact and SKT, they do get taken out by Jin Air 3-0. And I'm really curious to see what the final rankings are for this round.
Yeah, we are going to check where we're at after
the MVP interview, which I think will be SOS.
Yeah, I want to hear from SOS.
Yeah.
I want to hear what he has to say about the carrier right now.
이별령 선수 프로포사.
I'll just let you read that. No, it's 4 years since he started, I believe. And that is a 3-0 for Jin Air. SOS taking out Zone. Maru taking out Innovation in a very nice
there we go,
game.
Because of the loss here from Jin Air Green Wings, from KT Rolsa rather, before Jin Air Green Wings does go ahead here and take that second spot. KT Rolsa and Samsung Galaxy will be facing each other in the first playoff game of this round.
That's really annoying for KT. They've got to prepare for an entire other matchup. And here we have our new winners ranking. Zest, the only player out of the guys who do have 5 wins to win today. Of course, Deer didn't play. He will play, or no, he's actually
he'll
done.
Play
he'll
in
play in the
playoffs.
playoffs. So Zest, in fact, is our one winner at the top.
Yep, so Zest will become king of Pro League for until the playoffs at least. So
yeah.
Mario